Good day, everybody. Greetings. I'm your host, Rich Frawley. Appreciate you joining me today as we take a look at the latest features and additions to the ADF suite of tools. I've been with ADF for nearly 4 years after my 22-year career in law enforcement. During my career, I had the opportunity to perform forensic examinations, investigate digital crimes, collect intelligence. And in those years as an investigator, I enjoyed working on a variety of cases: fraud, homicide, threats. So being prepared and up to date is really, something that's near and dear to my heart here. So glad to be here and presenting to everybody today. So for those familiar with our tool, and I know this is a new features update, just allow me a few minutes here to introduce ADF to any of the newcomers that may be with us today, and then we'll get right into it. I am not going to hold you up for a long amount of time today. We have some great new features. I'm going to make sure we show them to you, go over them, and we're going to move right along. So for those not familiar, those newcomers, as a company, ADF has been around for over 10 years, closer to 15, with its technological foundations rooted in forensic triage. Our early years were spent creating software specifically for image identification and analysis for child exploitation. And government agencies and law enforcement were the main drivers for this technology. Our immediate value as a triage tool was in providing immediate on-scene intelligence and capture of potential evidentiary information, and has since morphed into solutions that are easier to use for investigators and helping reduce case backlog. So what has transpired over the years has been an evolution of our technology to not merely include support for hundreds of file types and artifacts, but a better way to link all that information quicker than any other solution on the market. The theme has remained consistent in our mission statement: help investigators and examiners get the relevant information faster. So today's webinar is going to showcase some of those new features and demonstrate the timely results. ADF software products are designed to help you collect, analyze, and report on everything you need to put your case together. Our software identifies evidence and then tags and correlates it for you so you can make rapid decisions. It could be a decision to make an arrest on scene, or in a triage-based approach, it could mean to take evidence for further analysis. Our goal is to help you further your investigation with speed and accuracy. At ADF, we work closely with our customers to get feedback and understand specific use cases. And that's why I'm glad that we're showing you some of the stuff that we've implemented today. We seek to design products to help you get your job done faster, more effectively. We designed our user interface based on the Microsoft Fluent framework, which combines easy use with the ability to be highly configurable. The automated process flow helps you identify critical evidence fast and eliminates unnecessary and time-consuming noise that may be in your investigation. Helps you to identify and correlate files, user activities, and artifacts, scale through those large terabytes of data that you have on scene, same-day court-ready reports. When you make your decision, you have a report ready to go, and distribute automated evidence collection and powerful analytical capabilities to investigators. And it doesn't matter how you deploy any of the ADF tools, whether it's a boot scan, live scan, desktop, standalone viewer, the interface is the same, and there really is no learning curve between any of it. We were among the first forensic software companies to combine files, artifacts, and user activities into a single timeline view. All this information is combined into a comprehensive timeline, which can be customized with a lot of powerful filters. We give you time-based configurability, meaning we can customize our profiles to give you quick general profile, low-hanging fruit, early case assessment, or an intermediate scan that will gather artifacts and files that will target exactly what you're looking for and allow you to continue with your investigation as soon as the scan is complete. You can also scan, or you can also analyze while the scan is being run. And then we have our thorough scan that will put everything, pull everything and do a comprehensive analysis of the data received. You can see here in this that, the fast triage, we could be done in a couple minutes. I'm going to show you something here. Kind of pulling the rabbit out of the hat for you today as far as time goes. But we can customize our tool to be anywhere from a couple of minute scan up to a few hours, depending on what you're looking for, what you're looking to get out of your case, and how comprehensive you want to be. All of this can be shared with a standalone viewer. The viewer and the analysis portion of our tool placed onto a device that can be shared with other investigators, prosecutors, so on and so forth. It's fully functional. You can tag, sort, filter, and report, and no license is required. So you do the scan, you collect the evidence, you put it in a standalone viewer, you hand it off to one of your investigators, and they are hitting the road with the evidence and starting to put everything together. A little bit about the process, how it works. So with the addition of Mobile Device Investigator or our Pro tools, you are now able to scan logical iOS or Android devices. You connect it to your computer, forensic laptop, workstation, whatever you have, through the cable, make the backup and scan all in one fell swoop. Or if you're using the computer portion of our tool, you have drive images, external drives, CDs, DVDs, whatever digital device you may have, connect it through your write blocker to your machine, and you're able to do that scan. That also includes images as far as EO1 and DD files. We also put it out onto a collection key. You can take that collection key out into the field and conduct either a boot scan from a powered off computer or a live scan on a Windows machine that is up and running. You plug in the USB device, either boot to it or start it on the live machine, run it from the tool. You can collect RAM, you can image, and you can run multiple keys on scene with one license. So with that, it is demo time. Let me close this down. And now everybody should be able to see Digital Evidence Investigator. All right. Let's get my notes here. So, new features. I'm going to step back a little bit. For those of you who may not have sat in on something like this, or we didn't get to speak, I really do. I try to speak to everybody in between and catch you up on what the new features are. Hopefully this year, with this version, you may have seen an email come out giving you access to my calendar for some quick 30-minute updates. So that's always available. If it's something you're interested in, reach out to me. I'm going to try to do that as well as these with the new versions. But let me step back. So we introduced last year Mobile Device Investigator. Back in August, we introduced our Pro versions, is what you're looking at here. That's our Digital Evidence Investigator Pro. What that does is it takes the computer tool, Digital Evidence Investigator, and puts it together with Mobile Device Investigator into one tool. So you have now all devices within one tool. And we're going to go over some of that today. Some of the other things we added back then, some more artifact support. Artifact support is always coming into play. If you ever want to know what we're supporting, you can come into your search profiles, and hold on a second here. There we go. You can come into your search profiles, look at the communication, and you can see under messaging all the different messaging apps that are supported. So if you're looking for any of those new. In this version, at the bottom, you can see we added Instagram and Grindr as the two messaging and contacts as well. So any information available in those logical backups, we will grab those. We've added application usage for Android. We've Android web cache, WebView cache files we've added. So the artifacts are coming in. One of the new things now with your messaging, recovering deleted records from SQLite databases. So just think of all the different apps or like browsers and calendars. All these things use the SQLite databases to store information. So now if something is deleted in there, we are now collecting those as well. So that's pretty big in and of itself. To get to that, I will show you in results just to filter and show which records are which. With our last version, entering passwords to unlock BitLocker encrypted partitions, File Vault 2 over HFS encrypted partitions, and File Vault 2 over APFS encrypted partitions. So you hit those partitions, you see it's File Vault 2, click on it, enter the credentials, and you are in, and then maybe make that image of it while it's open and decrypted. What else in our last version? So hiding duplicate files. That's a big one when you go into some results. Let me just pop in here. I know this one's a little older, but it's something that I think everybody needs to know is there. So if I go into results on a phone, this is a phone here, so we all know, we get a lot of pictures. If I'm looking at my gallery, by default, it's going to put a filter on. I've turned it off on this one, but just to show you where it is, up on top we have hash deduplication. I hide duplicates, I hit apply, and now all duplicates are taken out. But let's say, and I don't know if I have one up top here, if there is a duplicate, you will be able to see in a tab down here that shows it is a duplicate. I know I have some in this. Hash deduplication, hide duplicates. Now, like I said, this goes on automatically at the beginning. When you come in here, it'll be on. If you want to see everything, you can easily click it off. But if you look at these first two pictures, it shows this little window pane icon, top center of the picture that indicates there's a duplicate. But you can see I have a tab now that has duplicate and it has a link to the other picture. So we're not hiding it from you. It is still there for you when you see the picture. If there were several of these, you would have a link to each one of them under here as well. So know that's there. Know you can turn it on. Know that you can turn it off. You can print documents from the details pane. So when I'm down here, I would have the ability to do that. I can image to DD now when I'm in my imaging. So I'm in image attached devices. You can see here now that I selected what I wanted to scan, where I wanted the destination, image name, and then I have the expert witness file or EO1 and DD available to me to image to. We have introduced a global settings file. I'm going to show you that in a little bit. So we can you can initialize multiple workstations with this file. So you don't need to go into every workstation and do your settings. You'd be able to do it with one file. That allows us to hide your search profiles and your captures. So if there's stuff you don't want somebody using, or if there's stuff you know you will never use as far as our default profiles, you can hide those from view. Define your scan information fields, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But let's get into, I kind of covered some of it today. Recovering deleted records from SQLite. A couple of the apps. The biggest one is on the computer side. Well, two of them. We have computer side with our collection keys, and we have making a backup or scanning an unlocked iOS device that does not have an encrypted backup. So first off, preparing a collection key. So when you want to go out into the field and take your customized search profiles or the default search profiles out, and you can always see here, I make a lot of custom ones for different types of cases, different types of activities. So here, this would collect web and social information, non-operating system drives, so your thumb drives. I want to collect multimedia and run child exploitation keywords against it. Here I'm looking for a specific name or documents. I'm going in and I want all the documents that have these specific search parameters in it. I can collect that way as well, just to give you an idea. But I'm going out on scene. I want to take my custom canine. I want to take maybe a quick child exploitation and maybe my saved credentials. So as always, I have this, but now you can see there's a selection, predefined search profiles. I'm going to create my collection key with the profiles I want to take out, select my collection key, and prepare the key. That's all fine and well. There's really nothing different there other than selecting this radio button. But what's the other one? So here's the big change. I love this. No predefined search profiles. You could choose the captures you want to run on scene. So on the fly, no more do you get out on scene and you run all these profiles, right? And everything works for you. You do your custom, you got your suspect's computer, you run something else. But let's say a call comes up and you've got to run to another house, maybe on some kind of terroristic threat or some kind of fraud. You got your collection key with you, but you don't have profiles. You didn't take any profiles out with you. So now you can go to no predefined search profiles. The user will select, and I can create this collection key. So now I go out with my key that has my search profiles. I create a second one that doesn't have my search profiles on it. And I'm going to shut this down here. And we're going to go on scene. Let me plug in my collection key. And I'm on a live Windows machine. So I open up my collection key using the start.bat. Again, I'm on the suspect machine. It's a live Windows machine up and running. And the one I plugged in. All right, so you can see nothing's changed on the front page. I still have the ability to create a RAM dump. I can still image when I go into scan computers. All right, let's have this show up. And this is the regular search profile, the regular collection key. Nothing's changed. You can see, look, here's one I have access to my BitLocker. Right, so I have a BitLocker encrypted thumb drive. I know the credentials. I can unlock it, and there you go. I now have access to that to scan. So showed you one feature on here. I showed you it's still the target devices, search profile, scan information, but we have a new button here. I have my search profiles, child exploitation case, maybe it's a fraud case, but I find out more information in my interview. I have a suspect name or I have a victim name that I was like, oh, I wish I added that to my search profile. Here we go, add keywords. I can now add keywords to one of my search profiles I'm going to run on the fly. You can see here, capture group name. It's called on the fly, but if I wanted to add it to my documents, or my keywords, I could change it here. My capture name, this automatically comes up with the date and time, but I can change this to, new information on scene, victim, bulldog. And then I enter my search expression. So I have a new name or I have something new to run. Just like when we're creating, we can add a tag, automatic tag to it, and we can also add a comment. So we're bringing that ability out into the field for you. So now that I have my keywords in, right, what do I want to search? And same abilities that you have when you're customizing. Two options to start with: file names and artifacts. So that the first thing our tool does is make a listing of every file and folder that's on the computer. And the second thing it does is it parses out all the artifacts. That's all done fast. It's all done in the first couple of minutes. So with this selected, it would run this keyword against those file names, folders, and artifacts, and it's fast. I also have another option to add file content, which is going to be a little slower, right? Because now I'm not only looking at the file names and artifacts, but I'm saying, hey, here's a Word document I want to look at for this keyword inside of Word documents. And that's what my first choice underneath here is. Do I choose documents or documents, internet files, and text files? That will be a little slower than just documents. Once I pick that, where do I want to search? User profiles or the entire drive and deleted files? That's going to be a little slower. Keep it in if I'm running a triage type scan and I'm only looking in the user profiles, then I would keep it selected at user profiles. And then file identification method, our last choice, is how do I want to identify the documents that I'm searching these folders against? So fast identification is by file extension only, or thorough identification is by file header analysis. And that is definitely going to be slower because that looks at every single file on that computer. So if you're doing a triage, I would strongly suggest the fast. Add my keyword, I hit save, and now when I run my scan, that keyword search will be part of the profile that I'm running. Pretty straightforward here. So when you're done, I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to take this key out. I'm going to put in the other key that I've prepared. So this is the one without predefined search profiles. Let's get my window to open. There we go. I hit start.bat. Again, I'm on a live Windows machine, but we can boot. This can be booted to the computer, booted to the USB key, so we have that ability as well. Never want you to forget that. I can only demo live. Again, looks the same. I still have all the abilities. I can create my RAM dump, image the computer, scan the computer. Go into scan. I still have my target devices here. Everything here available to me. You can see there's my BitLocker. It's still unlocked. But now under captures, this looks like our setup scans, right? So application group, there's 11 different artifacts that I can pick. So I could do anti-forensic traces, cryptocurrency. Close that down. Let me go to child exploitation. Not a child exploitation case. I don't pick anything. Communication. Yeah, I want to look at calls, messaging, contacts. Close that down. Go to device data. So you can pick. You can see on the fly. Now, another thing we do. A lot of people have asked for this feature, and it goes against kind of where we were at the beginning, because a lot of this goes into people who aren't forensic examiners or maybe don't have that level of technical experience. You've got some, you go out in the field, you know your job inside and out, you know investigations, but when it comes to this part of it, you're a little weary about what you're doing. So when you're setting these up, let's say I was looking for just pictures in the user profiles, but I also, being hungry and not exactly sure of what all these do, I select picture, comprehensive, thorough ID, no carving. So I've selected two. Now, they're going to overlap the comprehensive one is going to get everything that's in the user profiles anyways, but it's going to take a longer time to run. So if I do this, and let's say I want to scan this drive, I've selected that, and I go to hit scan, I'm getting a warning now, right? The following captures are targeting the same files and may result in longer scan. We recommend deselecting the overlapping captures, and it tells you what those captures are. So I could move on and say, I don't care, or I could cancel. I can come back here. Now, if I turn off my comprehensive, because I really only wanted pictures in the user profile, I would choose that. Or if I wanted, I wanted comprehensive, speed optimized, and then I can hit scan and move forward. But again, I can also come up here and add my keywords. Same thing, keyword, auto tag, auto comment, search. What do I want to search? I got to put in a name here first. Where I want to search, make that selection. And then once I make that selection, where I want to search, how I want to search, so on and so forth, save it, and then that becomes part of your scan. Hope that makes sense. I think I have some results. I'm going to open up my desktop view, and we're going to get into one of the other ones. So just a kind of summary. Now you have the ability to create collection keys. Again, you could take as many out in the field as you want. If you think you're going to come across 75 computers at a business that you need to scan, you could make 75 collection keys, hook them all up, and to start the scan, you put in the license. Once the scan starts, you pull the license out and move on to your next computer, all 75 running at the same time. So preparing collection key, take out as many as you want. If you're doing your predefined search profiles, make those first. You could put in as many keys as you want. I can select, as many keys as if I have here, it will create them all at the same time. So you don't need to do one at a time. You could do multiples. Once I'm done doing that, I move over to my no predefined. Maybe I make a couple like this so I can change on the fly. I can say I have new information, or I only want to search for, I just want the system information, or I just want the messaging, or I just want the contacts and the call logs. Whatever it is, you can do it on the fly and add your keywords on scene. So let's move over a little bit to scanning the iOS devices. So you have access to your iOS device. You have a phone, you want to add the phone, it's iOS, I select that. Pretty straightforward. Nothing's really changed now except here it wants to make sure that airplane mode is on. As long as it's on, you can hit the next button. And then here's where it asks you to connect your phone. So I'm going to connect an iPhone here. It walks you through the steps. This one says, all right, it's connected. It detected it. It established the trust already on this computer, and it's ready. And I hit OK. And it brings in my Apple iPhone. With that, this is kind of just a tip. I'm going to back out here, and I'm going to go back into scan devices and images. And you're going to see that this phone's already been connected. But what I would do as a best practice is still go to my add phone, and I would disconnect the phone, go to add phone, and walk through these steps to make sure that the program and the phone are speaking on the same terms. I'm not saying anything's going to happen if you don't do it that way, but I think it's just best practice to go through and enter that phone as you will. So my device is ready. I hit OK. Now it's discovering you saw that pop up. It was discovering the encryption status of the phone. So when I go to run a scan, and make the backup here, it goes to start the backup, but it says, okay, hey, this is unencrypted. So please enter the passcode on the device, which you can't see, but it's asking for the device. And again, we're doing logical, so you should have the credentials for the phone. So what it's going to do when I enter that, it's going to change password for backup, or it's going to enter a password for and encrypt the backup, which allows us to grab more data. So in an unencrypted state, we're not going to get as much data. So what we're doing is automating this process for you. We're gonna put a encryption on it, put a password on it, encrypt the data. When the scan is all finished, this is going to come up again, ask you to enter the iPhone passcode again, and then it's going to remove that encryption password and put the phone right back to where it was. So we're doing this automatically. We're encrypting the backup, therefore getting more information for you for your scan. I'm just going to pop that out because I don't want to sit through a backup there. So again, it's going to walk you through those steps. It is a step-by-step process. You put the password in for the phone, it encrypts the backup. When it's done, you put the password in again, it unencrypts or puts the phone back to its status before you connected it to the phone. One of the last things I kind of want to get over today, for those who may run this on multiple machines, I'm going to drag this window in here. When you are, that's a little whitewashed. Okay. When you're setting up, and you may have multiple machines within your lab that have this tool on it, that is allowed. We are not locked to a machine. We are dongle based, so you can have it installed on multiple machines. You want everybody to have the same settings. We now have a config file. It's located in the user files, app data, local, ADF Solutions. This one's for Digital Evidence Investigator. And we have that config JSON file. And I'm just going to open this up and show you. Let me drag in. I opened it in Notepad+, and I know this is small, but here it shows you all the captures. Okay, I saw a question. I'll get to that in a second here. So in this JSON file, in this configuration file, it has all the captures that you could turn on or turn off. So let's say you never wanted anybody collecting pictures from browser cache. You'll collect those with some other capture if you want, or you just don't want them turning that on or off. You can hide it here just by changing show from true to false. Same with our search profiles. So we give you all the out-of-the-box, comprehensive, intermediate, and quick. If those are ones you don't use, or you don't do child exploitation cases, or you only do child exploitation cases and you don't want the general profiling ones, you can hide those when it cleans up your view. You can also set the paths here. So you can see the default paths are in here for where the search profiles are saved. But if you've made changes and you've set it up, you can now take this config file, put it onto another computer, and these paths will be the same. Same with the tags as well. So very easy to configure one machine and then move this configuration file into the other machine and set it up just like your others. So that was that. So the question is this the iTunes backup passcode or the iPhone unlock PIN passcode? So good question. When it first asks you to enter the passcode, if it's an unencrypted phone, you're entering the passcode for the phone itself. So the credentials to unlock that phone. And then what we do is set the iTunes backup passcode to encrypt it, and then we remove it when this backup is done. If the phone is encrypted, previous, you'll need to know what their iTunes backup passcode was, and it will prompt you for that. So unencrypted, you're putting in the phone passcode, so we can set the iTunes unlock passcode. And then at the end, you put in the phone unlock code, and then we remove that password. All automated, and it will walk you through it step by step. There are some videos online now for that. And one more thing I want to show, speaking of videos, because if anybody's ever been to our website and have listened to my dulcet tones, I make quite a few videos on scene for little short, quick, this is how you do something. So everything I showed today, adding keywords, there's a video for it. If you want to add hash values to something, there's a keyword for it. But I want to show you, one of my next videos is kind of going to be about results and what's out there. Now, as you could tell, I've been talking about adding features to our tool. We're always adding features to our tool. We're always making it better. With that, it becomes a just want to, I have some results on a key. I'm just putting that key back on so I can see them. So the more we add to our tool, the more there is to learn about it. But I don't want you to forget where we came from. We can do a basic triage. There's no secret to doing a quick down and dirty, low-hanging fruit. Just tell me if it's there, scan. So here's a 250 gig Dell XPS computer that is heavily used. There's only about 10 gigs left on this computer, right? But I want to know off the bat only, are there anti-forensic tools, child exploitation information, cloud storage, crypto, peer-to-peer, or remote access? So I have all these keyword searches set up, right? And set to auto tag. And you can see under tag statistics that you can see the results over here, but you can see it also automatically tagged them. Okay, so in 54 seconds on a live computer, it not only it not only made a listing of every file and folder on that computer for you, which I'm just going into here now, which is your tree view, which you can explore and see what else is on the computer. You can see where your keyword hits were, your file folder names. So we have that listing, right? You can see here's my tree view. But let me go back. I made that listing. I've run these keywords against every file and folder name on that, which was, if I go back into my files view, I'm sorry, this is what I meant to come in here, 623,662 files and folders. Scanned, bookmarked, tagged in 54 seconds. Not only that, it collected the files that there were keyword hits on. 404 files were collected. So I could just easily go to my tagged area, go to my child exploitation site, look at the files. I have my keyword hit, what it hit on, and I have that image tagged, bookmarked, ready to go into report. I can go into reporting. I can do set up an HTML report. I don't need to do anything but click maybe, nope, this is all turned on, all set to go. I hit export. I have my HTML report showing my child exploitation images, where they were found, and all their properties. So our tool does a lot, but I want you to know we can also set it up to go back and have scans just like this that you can take out with you. So with that, I'm going to turn over. I do have another question here, and let me see if I can spread this out and maybe read it a little better. Okay, so we're running in a lab on multiple forensic machines. Do you have to connect each license dongle to each machine, or can it run the software from one license key backup previously stored backed up in each respective machine? Keep getting license not found issues, whether or not dongle is connected. Okay, so yeah, if you are going to do scans, you need to have access to that dongle. One of the new things with our next version coming out, there is some new license enhancements, and we are looking to improve probably with some of the issues you're having there. If you have multiple license, you keep the dongle plugged in, you won't have an issue. If you're going to have it on a server, so one could connect to it, and then when you're done with it, somebody else could connect to it. That will be doing too. Can you show how to add the Project Vic hash set to a custom scan? Yeah, we have a video on that, but since we're here and I'm at the end of questions, if you want to bring in the Project Vic hash set, it's very simple. This is going to take a couple seconds. I go to set up scans. I'm going to go into create a new capture. So I have a blank capture here. And let's say it's the only thing I want it to run. I'm going to give it a name, custom. This is for the search profile, if I was going to create a search profile. But if I just wanted to create a capture, maybe I'm not doing the profile yet. I go into new capture over on my function toolbar to the right. I go to search for files by hash. Now here's where I'm creating my capture. So I need a capture group. I have one called hash sets. And then here I'm going to put Project Vic. And is it the full Project Vic? I'm going to put full. If it was just category 1, I can put category 1. Over on my right-hand function toolbar, it says import Vic's data, right? So I am not, I know I have some here. Let me go here. And there's a JSON. So if this was my Vic's JSON file, of course, it's going to be a lot bigger. I'm going to point to that. I'm going to open it, and it's going to import it. This is just a test one. It was 143. Now, I've done this on scene with a couple of people. Where we did this in a class. So they were like, hey, we want to bring in the Project Vic. And they pointed it and created a capture just like I did here, pointed it to the full Vic database. It took about 15 minutes to load the whole database into our capture. All right, so that's fast, even compared to other people. That's really fast. But once it's done, okay, once it's done, we came out here into my hash sets, and you can see I have my Project Vic. I can export this capture now, place it onto a thumb drive, hand it off to the person next to me that has the tool, and then they come into this area and they hit import capture, point it to that fixed database capture that we created to pull it in, and that only took 5 minutes to load up because it's all set in our capture. It only took 5 minutes to load. So 15 minutes to bring it in initially on one tool, and 5 minutes to import it into another. So quick, fast, and you can see here step by step, it was easy to do. In the previous version, there was an error with the import of CSV to the K database. Has this now been resolved? Yeah, I was going to say a couple of versions ago, there was. I know you've probably worked with Ailsa or Richard on that problem, but yeah, there are no issues bringing that information in now. If there was something new that I'm not aware of that you're talking about, I'm sure it's being worked on, but I am not aware of any errors at this point in this version of the tool. And with that, I promised you I wouldn't go an hour. I want to thank you. Again, videos online, A lot of how-tos. We have our blog, we have our news, new versions coming out. It's only a couple months before we got our next version coming out. A lot of good information there. If anybody wants a little one-on-one time, it is available. So with that, always feel free to reach out. You can catch me through support, or again, I'm Rich Frawley, and that would be rfrawley at adfsolutions.com. Thank you, everybody, and have a great day.